Hey, good morning. How are you today? I hope all is well in your world. For the last couple of days I was on Search Inside Yourself, a 2-day mindfulness training course based on the book Search Inside Yourself, and that book was based on the program that came out of Google, really teaching Google execs how to be better leaders, how to work better together, how to be more collaborative. It was a really, really good program, really good. It was presented as a mindfulness program, as I say, but it really was a leadership program. And it included different levels of leadership. It included, at the most basic level, self-leadership. So how to lead yourself. There's a whole range of tools and strategies to do that. And then moving on to family leadership, community leadership, company leadership, and beyond. And there are a number of tools and strategies that were shared within that overall framework. And a few things that really stood out for me as big takeaways. So one of the overarching points was the importance of emotional intelligence. We are emotional beings, and for a long time, particularly in the Western world, we've been taught or trained to try and suppress our emotions. And of course, that can be a good thing or a bad thing, but in truth, we're emotional beings, which means that we make decisions based on emotions. Whether they're purchasing decisions, whether they're decisions about relationships, our decisions are grounded in emotions. And to accept that and understand that, huge part of being a human is important. Some of the key takeaways were, for me, in terms of tools, were be mindful, and there are practices that you can do in the moment, some micro practices, like, for example, mindful walking. So being much more present and much more aware of the steps you're taking, of the feeling of the ground on your feet. Mindful eating, which is something I need to get so much better at, because often I'm eating really quickly and keen to get on to do the next thing. In our fast-paced world, where convenience is so important, many people suffer from that, eating at their desks. I remember when I did the RBI Living Well program, we did a survey and found out that 90% of employees had lunch at their desks whilst doing other things. So that is a complete opposite to mindful eating, where you're savouring the flavours, you're looking at the colours, you're looking at the textures, you're experiencing the food in a much more holistic way. So these micro practices, another micro practice is just the power of the breath, taking three breaths, or focusing on your breath during those moments of anxiety. When you're in a meeting and someone said something and they've caught you off guard, and it's like, oh my God, I haven't got the answer. So before you respond, breathe, take stock, and then react. So really useful micro practices that we as people can integrate into our lives to help us channel and manage the stress that we experience. Then there are other practices that are a little bit more involved, that require you to take yourself away. And there are a couple of those that I thought were incredibly powerful. One of them was the empathy meditation, which teaches people to be empathetic. And the great thing about empathy is that it's a skill that you can learn. Yes, some people are naturally more empathetic, but everybody else can be more empathetic by learning some of these tools, and that the empathy meditation is such a great tool to integrate into your practice. And then the other one that I found incredibly powerful was the body scan. Our bodies are full of information, sending us information all the time. There's so much information we can't pay attention. It's only when there's pain that our attention is is grabbed. But by doing the body scan mindfulness meditation, we can go through and listen to all the different parts of our body and the information that it's providing. So these simple tools, these simple strategies are incredibly powerful, but only if they're integrated into your life every day and you do them consistently, because then they become normal, they become usual. So one habit that I've been doing for a long time, which was also one of the tools, is journaling. I find journaling an incredibly useful tool. My journaling practice is always done first thing in the morning. It helps me review and play back the day before. It helps me really, make sense of all the different events and different activities that happen. My days tend to be full, very full, lots of activity, lots of things going on. Sometimes you can easily feel a little bit overwhelmed at the end of the day, thinking, my God, there's so much to do, lots of different things. But the habit of journaling first thing in the morning enables me to put structure around that. Also, it's quite good doing it first thing in the morning because I've had the night to sleep and almost subconsciously think through some of those things. That's why people say sleep on it and you see things differently in the morning. But the other aspect of my journaling is I will always focus and integrate positive emotions. So I think about what happened the day before, but I will talk about the things that I'm glad about, the things that went well. And you'll be surprised how many things went well. And these are not just the big things. These are often the things that we would take for granted. So just having access to fresh food, for example, being able to go for a walk, being able to go for a run, talking to various different people, engaging with various different people, meeting different people, reading books, all of the things that happen to us on a day-to-day basis that may just blur into the everyday. These are things that are true gifts from nature, true gifts from life. And these things need to be celebrated and appreciated. And the only way you do that is when you step back and you look at that. And you look at your life and you look at your day with a different and more objective focus. As human beings, we are predisposed to have a negative bias. And that is just the way we're wired. Because biologically, if we were positive about everything, we would be running into the faces of danger. And if you think about our origins living in the wild, there was lots of danger, lots of things that could hurt us and kill us. That's still the case today, and we need to be aware. There are risks, there are threats all around us, but everything isn't a threat, and we're responding. That stress response occurs when things are not particularly dangerous, things are not particularly threatening. So by focusing and managing our perspective and having a more positive perspective, the simple tool of journaling can give you a positive focus. It can reduce the feeling of overwhelm. And then the third and important thing is it helps you really think through what actions you need to take based on what happened the day before. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.